What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. In today's video, I wanted to cover a topic that I just recently got a question on, and that is how to ensure that you have all of your proper X factors activated within franchise mode. Now, what we're going to start off by doing today is we're going to go from our home page to our Manage Roster page and click into Adjust Lineup. Very often, late into franchises, or even just a couple seasons into franchises, you're going to get multiple X factors to be able to equip on your team. Whether that be on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball, sometimes you'll end up with more than the applicable number of X factors that you can have on your team at one time. So that you know the number that you can actually have activated in terms of X Factor abilities is 3 on each side of the ball. And you guys can see that right here on the right side. Right above Relentless, it says 3-3 zone abilities, and that's referring to your X Factor abilities. The same thing applies on the offensive side of the ball. There are a couple of things that come into play here. So let's say you have 4 X Factor players on your offense. You can only select 3 of them to be active at one time. What you then need to do is you need to edit which ones are active within this section. So I went ahead over to another just randomly generated Pittsburgh Steelers franchise here so I could show you guys exactly what we're talking about. What I did is I edited it so that Roethlisberger, Harris, Johnson, and Freiermuth all have X Factor. However, whenever we go over to the right side here, you'll see that only 3 players actually have X Factors attached to them or activated. What you can do is you can click on, if you have more than 3 of these, you can click on any one of them and it will bring up the option to swap that zone ability out and utilize the one that you're trying to swap in. So in this case, we would be swapping out Ben Roethlisberger's for Pat Freiermuth's. Now, whenever we go over to here, you guys will see, or rather I should say vice versa. It had Freiermuth's activated and now it was Ben's. Now we switched it back and you guys will see that the 3 that are activated are Freiermuth, Deontay Johnson, and Najee Harris. So you can only have 3 activated at one time. And some people were asking me, I don't have an X Factor that's showing up on the field, even though they're an X Factor. I'm only seeing their superstar abilities. And this could be one reason that you're not seeing those X Factors. I've had it personally happen before where I've had more than 3 X Factors on one side of the ball. I've had up to 5, 6, 7 X Factors on one side of the ball if we're getting really crazy with it. And only 3 can be activated on each side of the ball at one time. Now, you can also have below 3. So, for example, right here, we only have 1 X Factor on this side of the ball, and that is Cameron Heyward. Now, what you will see here, however, is that on the right side of the screen, it is saying your defense has no superstar X Factor players with zone abilities. Look for superstar X Factor players while drafting, trading, during free agency, blah, blah, blah. And this can happen to you. This can happen to you where you have an X Factor player that is not showing up on the right side. You guys can see 0 out of 3 zone abilities activated, and this can be another issue that you would run into with your X Factor players being activated or not. Now, I've seen some videos suggest that the way to get around this is to give another player X Factor. Whenever you see that I've added an X Factor here to this defensive tackle, his ability is showing up, but Cameron Heyward's ability is not showing up. So there are a couple of things that you can do here, and it's primarily just based off of that player. First and foremost, you're always going to want to go ahead and check to see if that player has an ability equipped, because at times you can get this right here. You guys can see that we have no ability actually selected for Cameron Heyward. So that would be the primary reason why he's not showing up on the field as an X Factor and his X Factor abilities are not triggering. He just simply does not have one right now. And what I did in order to ensure that that ability is now activated is I simply advanced to the next week and Cam Heyward's ability became activated. Now, the other way that you can get around this is you can go in and simply edit that player, remove any development trait from them whatsoever, set them back to normal, come out, back out of it, back out of the franchise, come back into the franchise, and set them to X Factor, and that should trigger them to then have the X Factor ability, just like it did with this defensive tackle. As soon as we edited him from normal to X Factor, his blitz ability showed up for us and was activated under zone abilities here on the adjust lineup screen. I wanted to make sure that I brought this video to you guys today because I could not remember if I've actually covered this before on the channel. I've covered so many topics on Madden, I kind of lose track sometimes, but I wanted to make sure that you guys had a video just in case you were running into this issue, because this was something that I just got a question on recently, and I'm like, yeah, that's something that that needs to be known for people to be able to work around, because this is an issue that I've experienced before as well, and never really thought to make a video on it. So hopefully this information was useful to you, and if you did find this information useful, please leave a like on the video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. We try to make daily tips and tricks videos and other entertaining and informative content to help you guys out with your Madden gameplay as well as other games. I'll see you guys in the next one, and I hope you have a good one.